Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday after Christmas. I wonder how everybody's doing. I had a fabulous Christmas. I spent time with Christmas Eve with my son's family and my children. My son Ken came in from Milwaukee, my grandkids. It was so exciting to see them open up their gifts. It was just great being able to spend the time with them. And then on Christmas Day, we went over to my boyfriend's family, and that was a lot of fun too. Everybody getting together. Of course, Italians eat a lot of food for the holidays, and we had all the food, of course. But you know what? I gotta tell you, I watched some of Debbie's daughter stuff on Facebook, and I saw how they were just dancing around and having a great time. So with that, I'm going to have you talk to Debbie because Debbie's going to tell you about the fabulous Christmas that's here.
You know what, Laura? I think we have to. We both said this a few minutes ago about how I think we all felt like we were so want to just party and let loose and just have so much fun because we were all kind of like. For me, I was down and out last Christmas because I was sick, but
Yeah.
our whole family never celebrated things, and the year before we were all locked down, and I mean, just things that just was. It's just crazy, right? So we all felt like there was a reason that we had to get out and socialize and party. And, I had a great time. We went to my son-in-law's family on Christmas Eve and we were playing left, right, center and that game. And we were screaming and yelling and laughing. And it was just so much fun. We had everybody from Mariano, who's 9 or almost 9, all the way to my father-in-law, who's 83, just laughing, So that was fun. And then, yes, we had like at my house and yes, we had our Alexa going and we were dancing and just being crazy. And it was just fun. And I think that we had my mother-in-law dancing too, and it was fun. But I think it's just the fact of having everybody all together. That was it. That was great. That was such a blessing, So for us to reflect now on 2022 and look forward to 2023. I mean, first of all, I want to just say I am ever so blessed that we're still doing this platform. Lori, you and I have had so much fun. We have learned so much from each other. We've learned so much from other people. We've implemented a lot of stuff that we've done. We have so much stuff that we keep saying we want to do with people that we've already had interviewed and talked to, and we can't even keep up with it, and it's a good news, bad news, right? We have to get more diligent. We have to get more on some of the things that we want to still like move forward and try or whatever. But I hope that other people feel the same way because I think that every week we get new things. Every week we're learning. And I was just going to say, Laura, I know we talked today would be a day to reflect on some of the things in the past that maybe we learned. How do you feel? Like, do you have things that you could say, pick and choose a couple little nuggets like that you can like offer up to share that you think that you've used,
Like for example, we talked about music, how it affects people. And I know that was a great topic for us because of the fact that we both love music. And, I have a son that sings, but, the outdoor concerts over the summer, we were so lucky to have bands this year that we got to interview. We got to do Vin A from the Bronx Wanderers that are in Las Vegas. I mean, from Keith Semple and the Semple Band to his new band Siberian. I actually went out and got to see and hear his new band. It was fabulous. And of course, Strung Out, which we've had before on last year, but just to see what they're doing. But just amazing things that we did with music this year. And I am so looking forward to this next year of talking to more bands and going to see more bands. And, we did stuff on saving money. I learned a lot about that kind of stuff that we could do to save money. I can't think of anything particular, but I know that, I'm on a budget. I wasn't on a budget before. I set up an awesome budget for us that we've been really working hard and following, which is amazing in this day and age, especially when money is tight. And, just boundaries. I have a hard time with boundaries, Debbie. I've always had a hard time with boundaries and realizing that boundaries are very healthy for not only me, but the other person. So I've learned to kind of back off on things especially when it comes to children, and people taking advantage of you. I've been really kind of picking and choosing about what I'm going to do in that, and that's helped me out a lot. How about you, Deb?
Well, you know what? I'm thinking to myself, a lot of what I've learned to focus on this year from some of the topics that we've had is the music was the one greatest thing too. That music, it just lifts you up. It makes you forget about all your worries and everything. And let's just face it, Lori and I can say, sure, we have no worries. Oh, yes, we do. We have worries all the time. If you have one other person that you've got worries. There's always, you know what I mean? Like in your life, and your family, things that go on left and right in this world. And not to mention, and we're not going to get into politicals and we're not going to get into that kind of stuff, but we all do have concerns. There's no doubt about it, whatever your belief is. Okay. So it brings me to think about the stress factor and how to deal with it. And I think I've learned better this year from some of the subjects and topics that we talked about to kind of how to channel that and try to also not feel guilty about taking time for myself. Okay, that's a big, huge thing I've done this year. A couple of the things that I did is, and we are going to interview her too. One of my clients is a chiropractor. And so I started going to her and she's made a big, huge difference. I found out that my back was like off, like literally off. And I kept saying, I'm off, like goofing around. I'm off. Something's weird. I'm off. I was really off. But anyways, I went to her and it's been amazing how she's helped me. But I think I've really like tried to focus in on like, take the time to smell the roses, no pun intended, and really take care of yourself. And Lori, you have been the example to the nth milk degree on that this year. You look fantastic. Okay. And getting your one knee done, and now you're going to get your other knee done, and your goals that you've set. People should learn and look at that. And I got to say, Lori actually talked to somebody that we've interviewed, and for privacy, I'm not going to say names and stuff, but someone we both mutually know that just went through knee surgery. And that person actually was so excited that Lori got to personally talk to her and tell her how she was and what she implemented and what she did and how it helped her. So, I mean, we're all learning from each other that as we're getting older, there's things that we have to do that help us keep in the best shape that we can be the best version. So I guess one of the big takeaways this year is that I've learned it's okay to say no to doing that stupid stuff that I thought I should be doing and take the time out and go do what I need to do for me. Because if I want to help others and I want to be part of doing stuff and I want to be a good example to my family, I need to be on the top of my game kind of thing. And I think that's been a big, big thing. And I think because when we were locked down and everything, we didn't get to do some of the stuff we wanted to do. And I'm not going to say we all let ourselves go. That's not the thing. But now it just feels good to get out and do those things, I also feel like for us that we'll talk a little bit about like New Year's resolutions. Guys, start to think about that. We have a few days left this year, right? And the new year comes in, and we're going to hope that we can pray that there's a breath of fresh air all around us within the world and everything. But we can create that ourselves within our households.
Yeah.
Around the people we are. And if there's something that you feel you suck at, seriously, I'm saying it down and nasty. Maybe you're not eating right. Maybe you're not, doing maybe your prayer life, maybe your relationships with your family, whatever. You can be better at that. That could be part of your resolution, and I encourage you to, if you want to like publicly put resolutions out there and post them on our thing, go ahead, do it. Say, my resolution is da 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 da, I haven't really gathered what mine are, but I know I've got some. We all have them. We all got to get together with that. But Laura, what do you got to say on that? I know.
Thank you about mentioning about my knee. I just want to tell you a little bit of a story about it. I went to go talk to the doctor about doing the knee operation, but I was too heavy and I was in so much pain. My BMI was too high. And so they said in order for me to do the surgery, I had to get my BMI under a certain amount. So that meant to lose at least 30 pounds. And what they did is they sent me to a nutritionist and they sent me to a weight loss doctor. And I was not on I was not on pills. I was not on anything like, where you couldn't eat or anything like that. They just taught me how to eat better, but they also changed my medication that I was on. And I found out that insulin, when you're on insulin, because I'm a diabetic, the more insulin you take, it's harder to lose weight. So their goal was to get my insulin down by giving me other stuff. And I'm, like I said, I'm no doctor or anything, but they put me on a medication that dropped my blood sugar down, which caused me to take less insulin, which helped me lose the weight. So it wasn't only about me eating better, it was about them tweaking my medications around. And in the meantime, and we did a segment on this,
Mhm.
now there's a thing called leptin. You can go back and look that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you have high leptin in your body does not want to lose weight. And of course, my leptin was extremely high. So, excuse me, the medications they gave me to help me get my A1C down and stuff. I haven't had a recent test on the leptin, but I'm sure it's way down. So I'm telling you guys, if you're overweight, like extremely overweight, it's not your fault, okay? It really isn't your fault. You need to go see a doctor and you need to have them look at everything you're doing. It's not always about the food. It's not, in fact, I don't even eat that much. I was eating the wrong things, but I also was on all the wrong medications. And now my body's working a lot better, so that's why the weight is coming. So I just want to tell everybody, if you want a New Year's resolution to lose weight, and they say consult with a doctor, consult with a doctor. It's important. You will be totally surprised where you will go with this and that. So, but also another great thing that we talked about a lot was gratitude for everything. We talked about, being thankful for everything we have and show gratitude to people. And that was a huge thing for me this year. You start looking at things a little bit different, and all of a sudden you're realizing how blessed you are. And I know, Debbie, we talk about this a lot. What do you feel about that?
I totally, you know what, guys, we have to just look around the fact that you're here, and maybe you're struggling, but you know what? It sometimes there are struggles that we go through, but just being so grateful for, different things. And, through your gratefulness, try to, like, another thing that I know Lori will bounce off of is helping others and trying to give to others. Around this Christmas holiday, I know both of us have done some different things for charity and stuff. And that's also a cool thing, kind of using being so grateful for yourself and your family around you, but turning around and trying to help others that really need things. I think that's a really big thing. I just want to just bounce backwards for a second. Lori, I'm so proud of you because you took from the beginning of the year to like certain things along the way because of this platform. Okay. Because of what we've done. And I'm not patting us on the back, guys. This is not at all. Lori and I are no experts. Lori and I are, we're just crazy about wanting to have fun and help others. Lori was able to help herself through the topics and subjects and some of the people that we interviewed. And I know for a fact, people have reached out to us and told us how things have helped them. So I'm just going to interject something that just came to my head, that if you feel like you want to help others and you've got ideas or thoughts that we can do this next year, please run them by us or help us to, if you know someone that's a great person to interview, we've got a great panel of things that we're going to do. We got so much going on, but the problem is Lori and I's life sometimes gets in the way a little bit, but you know what? We make that a priority. Even though you guys are all a priority, we make our things a priority and we catch up. Okay. So Lori and I always say to each other, we have no rules on this platform. If we have to skip something or take a week off or do something or rerun something, we do. But we got so much that we want to share. And I just want to say my gratitude is this platform huge. Lori and my ability to be able to do what we're doing has made my life better. It's made Lori's life better. We've been able to implement things within our families that has changed things. We've been able to meet people who have brought something and something that we've thought of that maybe we didn't know much about, but then they came in and they did the, explanation of what was going on. Some of these grief and stress counseling people we've met, the list just goes on and on and on. I mean, we could probably do a whole hour or more talking about some of this stuff, but I'm just ever so grateful. And Lori, gratitude, grateful for you, grateful for everything. And, it's, I don't know, there's so much we could talk about, but do you have any New Year's resolutions that you've already thought of? I gotta say, I'm still soul searching. There's many of them on my head, but do you have anything that you want to share yet, or we'll bring that up at another time too?
Are you talking to me or
Yes, to you, yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess it would be me because I'm the one answering. Yeah, I have to have my other surgery on my knee on February 15th. So I do want to lose another 15 pounds. So I got to get a little bit stricter. I'm going to definitely cut out the soda, except for maybe 1 can of diet soda a day. I'm going to total water because I get kind of out of control. Soda, diet soda especially, is very addictive.
Mhm.
If you drink 1 or 2 and it gets to 4 or 5, it's because your body's like craving it. So I just decided that I'm just going to make that as a treat once a day. And if it gets to the point where I want more, then I'm going to just get rid of it and drink more water.
That's good. Yeah.
Water, and I know, Debbie, you're great with drinking water. But that's one of the main things. And I just want to look at life a lot different. I want to keep going in my journey to learn more about my body and why I do things, because I just think that was the biggest thing that helped me out a lot this last year. Also, I want to go to more concerts. This year, we didn't go to as many as we wanted.
Didn't, no, you're right.
I want to go to more concerts. I want to get together with my friends, with you and all our friends, and do more things and come up with some things to do. And and as far as the boundary thing, this is something I really want to do this year. I have some issues with some people that family that I have problems with boundaries, and I'm just gonna start doing the boundary thing. I think it's healthy for me, and I think it's also healthy for the other person. But that's where I'm at. That's
Awesome.
Yeah. How about you, Deb?
You know what? I got a lot of thinking here. I got a lot of stuff. First of all, I do want to do more stuff next year too. I really do want to make sure that, because you know what? We're not getting younger. Now, other people on here may be younger than us, but still, let me give you some examples. I just want to say, do the things you want to do now, because don't think off and put things off. Because if you want to travel or you want to do different things, because you don't know what life brings you, and especially if you're young and you're going to start a family, or maybe you have a family, do the things. If you have to be spontaneous, just do it. Okay. Just be spontaneous if you have to, and don't overthink it, but I still want to try to do more, like I said, more things, try to, for my own self, but for my family, of course. But one thing I always say, and I've said this a bunch of times, and I really got to make sure I got to really get back into my reading. My reading is one thing that I get. I'm on again, off again, on again, off again. I'm very inconsistent, and I know that when I read, it calms me down, but it also is like, leaders are readers, and you get so much information. We've got so many great authors. We have a couple more authors too that we're going to interview, so we're going to have some more things that we're going to share. And Lori, you were so blessed to get to go out and see Joan when Joan was in here, and I couldn't make it work, but we've got a panel of authors we're going to end up having, because we'd like to kind of share maybe how they became authors. There's a lot of people that do a lot of writing, but we don't even know about it, and so we're trying to learn more about that. But I do definitely that. And I've got some other things that I'm going to add to my list, and, we'll have to share them along the way too. But, I think one thing that I think we all have to think about is that, how can we be a better example too for others? That might be somewhat of a resolution, kind of thing. How can we, walk in and light up a room, and help others that are going through other things. We've talked about it before, reaching out, making a phone call. Who have you not talked to over this Christmas holiday that you should be wishing them Merry Christmas, Happy New Year? Try to pick up the phone and call them. There's still time. You could still say that to them, even though the holiday, we're in the midst of the 2 holidays. It doesn't matter. We're in the season. So try to do what you can, if you want to bake some more, bake in some extra stuff and bring them to somewhere, or do something, try to do some things you haven't maybe done already, and get motivated. Like in Chicago right now, we had that burst of coldness. Now it's getting a little warmer. I swear the weather does make people feel differently. So maybe get out and do some more stuff. I don't know, Laura, what do you think?
Well, tomorrow's supposed to be like in the 50s.
I know. I got to get a car wash. Oh my God.
Get the car wash tomorrow. We want to do that too. I agree with Debbie, go out and do the things that you could do that, do it today. Don't wait for tomorrow because you don't know. And I'm going to give you a funny example. My daughter was in a shopping store and a grocery store, and some lady was riding the riding cart, which I do very often because I still have one bad leg. And the lady and my daughter says, "Can I help you get something off the shelf?" And she said, "Yeah, you can." And she says, "Oh, don't ever get old. It's so hard." And she kept going, "Oh, this is so hard. Take care of yourself while you're younger." And my daughter looked at her and said, "Are you my mother?" Because it was something that I would say. And, even when I'm in the grocery store and I'm struggling a little bit because, like I said, I still have one bad leg. I'm always telling people, it's not fun getting old. You got to do it while you can. Enjoy your life. It's just a story I wanted to share because it's true. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You don't realize what's going to happen when you get older. So enjoy things while you can, go out and do everything you can do. And spend more time with your kids, because your kids grow up and then they got their own lives. It's just so much stuff that you should do now and not wait for.
I need to add something to that. I'm going to say, don't settle for where you are. Right. Because if Lori would have settled, she wouldn't have had those knees done. She wouldn't have lost the weight. She wouldn't have dug into that Lipotin, right? Is that how you say it, Lipotin? Honest to God, you guys, really. So, you can take I can't because of that. You can make an excuse for anything. Believe me, I know people that do that, and that you make an excuse. And you know what? Don't make an excuse. Right. Just, what? I hope that we encourage you to get rid of your excuses, no matter what they are. The topic can be completely different. Maybe it's something else that you've got going on. Maybe it's some yucky stuff you got to get out of your life. Maybe it's some people that you have to change surrounding you. Maybe you need to add in some different people. I don't know what it is. It doesn't really matter, but you just set yourself a goal. It's okay. Write down on a piece of paper what you want to accomplish and some of the things, and just inch by inch, there are ways to get resources. There's ways to find people. We've met a lot of people, Lori and I really can't even wrap our heads around the amount of people that we've met through all the stuff we've been doing. And there's somebody somewhere, if there's a resource you're looking for, I'm sure we can kind of at least lead you or guide you. We're not going to be the expert on it. That's for sure. We're not going to say we are, but we definitely know people who know people. It sounds so funny to say that. We know people who know people, but there is. And you know what? It's all about networking. How many times I have, like, in my clients, they'll be like asking, "Oh, do you know somebody that knows this? Or do you know somebody knows that?" I'm like, "Yes, I do," and I think a personal referral, be that person. Maybe don't overstep your bounds. Make sure the person wants to find out about something. If they're kind of sharing something with you, you can always say, "Geez, I don't know much about that, but I do know someone else who does," Right. I mean, and we can find it, it's not that hard,
Keep your eyes and ears open. You'd be surprised about what you can learn. But I just want to say one last thing that I want to say is, our goal was to make the best version of ourselves this year. And I think if you can look back, we've done that. So we have to think of a new saying for ourselves for next year. Debbie and I are working on that. But for now, the best version of ourselves should be the goal and what we had tried to achieve this last year. Last statement.
With that, I'm just gonna say, Lori, I'm so excited. Like, to ring in a new year is going to be fun. It's like sad to say goodbye, but happy to have a new one. You know what I mean? I think this is a better year for a lot of people, but we have much to be thankful for and much to look ahead. And I think it's going to be fun. And I think that we have a lot, like we're not going to see everybody on this Friday. We're going to start back next year with, guns a-blazing here and lots of fun stuff. But I just wish that each and every one of you guys that are watching and share this to have a phenomenal holiday. The rest of this holiday season, the season doesn't end. It keeps going and the year ahead. And with that, Laura, I'm going to say, do you want to close us out?
Will everyone have a blessed, happy new year. Stay safe, enjoy your family, and we love you all. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.